like they grow from trees. Your opponents should tread carefully. You have to. Don't be lost. Double down. 3 opponents down. A well-fought victory.
Ladies and gents, my name is Xander, aka Diaslayers, and in this video, we're going to discuss the Felwinter's Lie versus the Mindbender's Ambition, and really find out as to which one of these two beautiful beasts is the best among the two, and maybe whether or not one of them is meant for retirement. For all you OG Destiny 1 players just like myself, you Diaslayers remember the Matador 64 from Destiny 1, and many of you also know that thing as the Matador. And lo and behold, this beauty right here, the Felwinter's Lie, is its little cousin, or rather I should say big cousin, because this thing hits like a monster. As to why this is so, is because of one very unique and specific trait that only can be found in the Felwinter's Lie, and it's called Shot Pacage. If you're scratching your head saying, what the heck is Shot Pacage, bro? Don't worry guys, I got your back, because we're going to do an in-depth analysis in comparing Shot Pacage versus Full Choke versus Rifle Barrel, especially with those things individually on the Mindbender's Ambition as well. If that wasn't enough, we're also going to look at these weapons' TTK stats, their base stats, which one can hit for more ranges given some different perks, and of course, the Felwinter's Lie, and find out as to which one of these supers or all supers that can actually down with Vorpal weapon. I know, I'm getting jacked, and I know that you are as well, so why don't we just go ahead, take a chill pill, sit back, relax, and hit the notification button, and let's jump right into the video. So the very first thing that I want to cover is usually some TTK stats, but before I can even begin to get into that, what you gotta understand first is all the perks that can come on this beautiful Felwinter's Lie. And as you guys can see from right there, it's got either opening shot or Vorpal weapon, slide shot or quick draw, accurate rounds, full choke, has a range masterwork, an Icarus mod, and shot package. My friends, I won't lie, this thing right here is the definition of a god roll, and we all have one simply by completing the Felwinter's Lie quest. And so as soon as you guys happen to complete that bad boy, this thing is yours, and it's not going to disappoint. But the thing that I really want to focus on here is one particular trait, and that is Shot Pacage. In contrast to most other aggressive frame shotguns like the Mindbenders, that thing only has aggressive frame. And so to really see the differences between these two perks, I want to show you a side-by-side comparison, and you can see that right there on screen. Take note of two things, Shot Pacage and aggressive frame. Shot Pacage states that this weapon is an aggressive frame shotgun modified to have more uniform pellet spread. On the other hand, aggressive frame states that this weapon is hard-hitting, has high recoil, and increases the rate of fire after a kill. Many Guardians are already used to using the aggressive frame R-type weapon, and this once again includes the Mindbender's Ambition. What we haven't seen before is Shot Pacage specifically. And so to really see the differences between these things, in particular Rifle Barrel and Full Choke, and then Shot Pacage and Full Choke together, what I want to do is I want to shoot 10 times for each one of these barrels against a wall in between these two lines, and as you guys can tell from right here, these tests that we're about to see is first of all with Rifle Barrel on the Mindbender's Ambition. As I take these first couple of shots, the first one you're going to then see is in real time, but then after that is still images, and I'm taking these shots in between these two lines to match up with the weapon's hipfire reticle. All these tests are done while aiming down sights, and with Rifle Barrel in particular, you're seeing that the pellet spread is mostly inside the weapon's hipfire reticle, but a couple of the pellets are actually outside. This can cause the weapon to have some significant inconsistency. And so what I want to do next is once again use that exact same weapon, but this time around change out Rifle Barrel with Full Choke once again on the Mindbender's Ambition. As I aim down sights, all these pellet spreads are once again inside the weapon's hipfire reticle, but what you're also then going to notice is that some of these pellets are actually overlaying on top of one another, showing that Full Choke is compressing the pellet spreads, and that's why you actually see less overall pellets because they're overlapping on one another. Now comes the test that we've all been waiting for on the Felwinter's Lie with Shot Pacage and Full Choke. And so as you guys can see from right here, at first I was like, I really don't see a difference, but after those first couple of shots, on the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and all the way up to the 10th shot, these pellet spreads are literally in the top half of the hipfire reticle. Oh my goodness gracious, are you freaking kidding me? This means that all these shotgun pellet spreads have that much greater of a chance to actually land in the top half of the reticle, all due to one particular trait, and that is Shot Pacage. It's getting spicy up in here, and that's because this thing just might make enemy Guardians a little bit salty. And the reason why this is so is because shot package combined with full choke is making this Felwinter's Lie that much more consistent in contrast to every single other shotgun in the entire game. Alright, I know that was a lot of information to take in a very short amount of time, but nonetheless, now you guys see the differences between something like, say, rifle barrel, full choke, and of course, shot package combined with full choke. And the very next thing that I want to show you is actually some TTK stats, because I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but both the Felwinter's Lie and the Mindbender's Ambition are now doing somewhere between 22 points of damage and 23 points of damage. Before, I thought it was between 21 and 22, but the more that I looked at this game footage, it's consistently 22 and 23. And this means to us that this Felwinter's Lie or the Mindbender's Ambition only needs 9 pellets to actually down the vast majority of Guardians, and that right there is some colossal information to know. To be more precise, if you happen to land 9 pellets doing 22 points of damage each, this thing can then do 198 points of damage. But if you happen to land 9 pellets doing 23 points of damage each, then you're doing up to 207 points of damage, and that's just craziness. Now you don't know, I don't know, nobody knows as to exactly what kind of damage is actually being done here, and that's because the game has a rounding error, and that's why we actually see both 22 and 23 points of damage, and so in reality, it's probably something closer to something like, say, 22.5, and if that's the case, then 22.5 times 9 is then going to be 202.5 points of damage. Just so that we're all on the exact same page, as I know I said a lot of information in a very short amount of time, you guys can see those PvP stats right there on screen. And the two most notable things that I want you to remember here is that each of these two shotguns can miss 3 pellets and still kill a Guardian, while at the same time, that resilience is then going to be at a minimum of 9 all the way up to 10 plus. And yes, I know that 10 plus simply is impossible, but let's be honest, 1, 2, or maybe 3 of those pellets are definitely still going to hit for 23 points of damage, and thus all you simply need is 9 pellets to down a Guardian, and that right there is just astounding. Considering the fact that both shot package and full choke are once again going to compress that pellet spread even more so and make the weapon that much more consistent, it's a no-brainer as to why this Felwinter's is going to be dominant inside PvP. But the other thing that you guys gotta wonder about is, what does this thing actually do against supers? Remember, instead of having an opening shot, you can also choose to select Vorpal Weapon, and Vorpal Weapon does more damage against supers. And so the very next thing that I want to test is exactly this. So before we go into those private matches and test it out, you guys can see that for the Hunter, he's running 9 resilience, the Titan is also running 9 resilience, and the Warlock is then running 10 resilience, just to be crystal clear. First up is the arc roaming supers. As I take out that shotgun and shoot each one of these guys, not a single one was actually able to be downed by a single shotgun pellet spread. However, doing this test case one more time, I thought, okay, why don't we try this with the melee? And as you guys can tell, every single one of these Guardians was left absolute, with once again 9 resilience, 9 resilience, and 10 resilience. Next up is the void roaming supers, and here not only the Hunter but the Titan also survived a shotgun pellet spread and a melee, but the Warlock Nova Warp is down by the same process, bada bing bada boom, poof, adios, bye bye. Ensuing this is the solar roaming supers, and as always, that gunslinger gets absolutely eviscerated, but the same thing is also said not just for the Titan but also for the Warlock, as they get down just the same. Being extra careful, I want to test out once again the Burning Maul and see if that thing could survive, and lo and behold, it does. But not just the pellet spray, but also the melee. And then comes the Well of Radiance. And no surprise here, but this thing just survives everything and regens health almost instantly, and I'm like, okay, props to you and respect. Now the only other thing that I wanted to test was the Void Roaming Super, aka the Sentinel Titan. And so here I went inside the bubble and used 3 shotgun pellet spreads to actually down that Guardian inside his bubble. And so I want to test this out one more time, but this time around I want to do 2 shotgun pellet spreads and 1 melee, and lo and behold, he was down just the same. In seeing all these test cases, the main thing that I want you guys to take away from this is that for almost every single Guardian at once again 9 resilience, 9 resilience, and 10 resilience, either one Vorpal weapon shot and also a melee could down just about every single one of them. But for some of them, it couldn't. And so to you I say, hold your horses, as we're going to go back in there one more time and test this out. But this time around, we're going to do it with the Hunter at 5 resilience, same thing for the Titan and the Warlock, just the same at 5 resilience and 5 resilience. Doing this only for the arc roaming supers, you can tell from right there that a shotgun pellet spread and a melee downs not just 1, but 2 and 3 Guardians just like that. And they all got obliterated by Exodia, since the afterlife, meaning Anubis, a little bit sooner than what they might have expected. Remember, There are very few guardians who run a maxed out resilience at 10 or close to that at 9. And so the vast majority of guardians are probably running something like say 5 or 6. And so in this sense, what those test cases just showed you against those arc supers is that Vorpal weapon on the Felwinter's lie with just a simple melee can down just about every single super, no problem whatsoever, bada bing bada boom. Now some of you might be thinking to yourselves, alright Xander, well this is awesome information to know, but how often are we actually going to be in point blank range and do that? To you I say, that's a fantastic question. And so in this sense, range and smaller base stats might be coming into effect in a lot of these scenarios. And to really see this, what I wanted to do is I want to show you all a side-by-side comparison analysis of the Felwinter's lie and its base stats in contrast to the Mindbenders and its base stats as well. The stats that are being shown is of course the weapon's base stats, but in correlation with the weapon's curator rules. And that's the same not just for the Felwinters, but for the Mindbenders as well. And knowing this, you can tell that the Felwinter's nits range is at 49, but the Mindbender's nits range only has 2 more than this at 51. Something else that's also noteworthy here is the weapon's handling speeds for the Felwinters at 33 and for the Mindbenders at 23. And that right there is probably going to be your biggest significant factor here, because the aim assistance is only at 33 for the Felwinters and 39 for the Mindbenders. As far as the bounce intensity goes, well, let's be honest, you should probably only be firing that one shot, because if you have time for a second shot, you're going to die in the process, and so in that sense, bounce intensity and recoil direction really aren't going to come into effect. And having said that, their range difference is only differing by 2. That's it. And so to you guys I say, you're never ever going to notice that difference. And so to really show this, what I want to do is I want to go into a private match and test both of these two weapons at 6, 7, 8, and 9 meters each with opening shots on both of these two beauties. And analyzing the Felwinters first, I take out my Darcy and measure 6 meters. As I do so, I then whip out the Felwinters, and just like that, 1 pellet spread equals 1 kill. Using the Darcy to measure 7 meters, once again we see the exact same thing, 1 shotgun pellet spread and 1 kill. Almost as if deja vu has occurred, taking out the Darcy and measuring 8 meters, we then see 1 shotgun pellet spread and 1 kill. At last, we then go back to 9 meters, and here I take 4 or 5 shotgun pellet spreads and still couldn't kill that guardian at 9 meters. But this then means to you that at 6, 7, and 8 meters, this shotgun right here, the Felwinter's lie, is extremely consistent, and it can hit those ranges on a very regular basis. As far as 9 meters goes, there is no doubt in my mind that this Felwinter's can still map you at that distance, but it's going to be less likely to happen on a regular basis. And so if I was you, I'd try and keep this thing in those ranges of 6, 7, or 8 meters, but I'm sure there's a couple of you out there who are curious to see if this is the exact same thing for opening shot on the Mindbenders. As you can tell from right here, I have opening shot on the Mindbenders, and I take out my Darcy and measure 6 meters. In doing so, it doesn't just take 1 but 2 shotgun pellet spreads to actually down that guardian at 6 meters, showing first off inconsistency. Taking out that Darcy one more time to show 7 meters, I then get what I would expect, 1 shotgun pellet spread and 1 kill. Going back only 1 more meter to 8 meters, here we happen to take 6 shotgun pellet spreads, and then finally on that 6 shotgun pellet spread, I actually down that guardian, and that right there shows you inconsistency of the wazoo. I mean, that right there, guys, is despicable and detestable in so many ways. But of course, this test case isn't over yet, as we're gonna go back to 9 meters. As I test this out with my Darcy measuring 9 meters, I then shoot around say 4 or 5 shotgun pellet spreads and still couldn't get a single kill. Just like the Felwinters, there is no doubt in my mind that this Mindbender's ambition with opening shot can definitely still down you at 9 meters, but it's going to be that much less consistent at that range, and most likely, it might happen maybe 1 out of every 10 times. However, you can tell that there is a colossal difference in one thing, and that is consistency. The Felwinter's lie with shot package and full choke combined is making that weapon so consistent that it's truly just baffling. But the same thing is not said for the Mindbenders, as you saw that at 6 meters, it took me 2 shotgun pellet spreads to down that guardian, and at 8 meters, it took me 6. You don't want that, I don't want that, nobody wants that. So to you, my friends, I say, definitely use the Felwinter's lie if you want something that's more consistent. But the very last thing that I gotta show you guys for a complete comparison analysis is each of the perks that can be rolled or rather not rolled on these two beauties. And you guys can see all those right there on screen. With the Felwinter's lie on the left and the Mindbender's ambition on the right, you're seeing at the very top both the curator rolls for each one of these two monsters. But for the Mindbenders, it can of course have a random rolls, and so that's what you're also seeing on the right hand side. Granted, the Mindbender's ambition can never ever have opening shot unless it's in its curator form, but in addition to this, it can also have snapshot sights and quickdraw if that's your cup of tea. However, opening shot is also found in the Felwinter's Lie, and you can use that with either slide shot or quickdraw, and that right there is just awesome, because let's be honest, you don't want to have to spend tons and tons of hours grinding to maybe get that roll in the Mindbenders when you can just simply use the Felwinter's Lie, and just like that, you got a freaking god roll that's going to fit your playstyle better than most shotguns could possibly ever do. And having said all this fluff camouflage shenanigans, there is no doubt in my mind, and there shouldn't be any on yours, that the clear winner here is the Felwinter's Lie. Simply put, the weapon is more consistent, hands down, no question about it. And let's also not forget that in all the test cases that you guys just saw, I wasn't including the range benefit that you could get from slide shot. And that right there is like the cherry on top mixed with a couple of sprinkles saying yes please, come again. No matter how that you look at this, the Felwinter's Lie is going to suit you for whatever kind of playstyle that you happen to have. If you like to play aggressive, passive, or somewhere in between, heck, if you want to have a weapon that's more consistent or even shut down supers that much more regularly, this Felwinter's Lie is easily the weapon for you. And so, having said that, let me know what you guys think about all these tests down in the comment section below, and which one that you're going to use, either the Felwinter's or the Mindbender's ambition. No matter what you guys say, you always know that I'm going to respect your opinions, and that is something that I can guarantee. Lastly, be sure to watch the newest, check the latest, and share, comment, like on social media, because you are the greatest. That's pretty much all I've got for you as of right now, Diaslayers, and as always, GG TNT.